Hello and welcome everyone, I am duckyobrien and welcome to my full walkthrough on a rogue escape. As always, I'm going to have the timestamps in the description below and in the comments so you can skip around to whatever part you need help on. Now when you start the game, you're in this elevator and as you can see it's not working, something about your heraldry, which is kind of like a designator. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go up, press up on the thumbstick and you're going to be able to reach this panel here. And then you're going to pull it down. Sorry, the little notification's in the way. But if you look here, it goes left, right, left button. So you're going to go down and then do the same thing with the knob. Left, right, left, and press. Now I'm going to mess up here, but you'll see the error message. Anyways, this is a pretty neat VR escape room game. I really like it. There's been a lot of great escape room games. Flow Weaver is another favorite one of mine, so if you like this, you can check that one out. I also have a full guide on that. But yeah, a pretty neat game. It took me, I don't know, over 2 hours to beat the first time through. The second time. Anyways, you do that. What you're gonna do here is you're gonna plug that thing there, and you can plug it right there, and then flip all the switches up. They're diagonal. That's gonna light all the lights up. And then from here you go into the Nauticrawl. I thought the game and the atmosphere was pretty cool. I felt like I was actually in a mech. I gotta find a way to disable that so I don't see those pop-ups. It kind of ruined the immersion for me. I apologize for that. I'll figure that out for next time. I only had to play this game twice. Usually I play the game 3 times through before I'm in a state where I can record a playthrough for it, for a guide. But this one was delightfully simple once you figure out everything. And here you initialize or launch the new Nauticrawl. You start at 104 I believe, and I played the game through twice already, so I'm at 106. Alright, so when you're starting here, you're going to want to flip that power switch on the top. It'll turn on everything. And then these 4 switches will line up all the consoles. And then down here is where you start the engine. Once you start the engine, the battery will remain stable. You're going to put the fuel injectors into mid. You can do it to full if you want to move further. Now here you can scan for signals. The wheel will direct your ship, and then if you pull the lever once, you will move 1 turn. It's kind of like turn-based almost. Don't forget to dismiss the broadcast. I keep forgetting to do that. All right. So yeah, you can increase the amount of fuel if you want to move further. Now, it's pretty much all you need to do. It took me a while to figure out how to start the Nauticrawl, but it was just that button. Another thing to note here, if you run it low on batteries, if you turn off the things that use power and then move, it'll recharge the battery. Okay, so here we're at the gate. Once we get close enough, you don't have to get that close. That is an overheat thing, you can pull it. Flip that switch up. I flip these down to save power. I launch the net hook and turn it back on so that I save power. And here, once you hook it, you can access or interact with items. You go to storage, take everything, and then you can display recent logs, etc. for basically lore and hints to what you want to do. I pause here so you can read through it. Later on I just pause for a little bit. So if you want to read that, you can pause the video. That will turn the cloak on, and you will de-aggress targets. You can check the cloak status there. It does use battery though. Alright. Now we have the gate. That's the first thing in the first level. I believe the worker is next. It's straight ahead. This tablet thing here kind of tells you how to start the mech. You scroll through it. I'm just gonna show the thing. So that's the power switch that you flip. You just have to do what I did there to start the mech every single time. So we're going towards the coworker. If you look here, if you turn the ship, the signal gets stronger when you're facing it. So it kind of gives you a handy tool on how to navigate this world if you're getting lost. So here I'm refueling the tank, so if you look here, those are tanks 1 and 2, and if they're empty, it'll run out. You can toggle the switch to switch between fuel tanks if you want to. I just use fuel tank 2 the entire time. Okay, so if that thing beeps, that means you're close enough to hook and you don't have to move. So again, turn those off to save battery. If you look at the battery indicator, if it has yellow or red, that means after that action, you'll lose those bars. Whereas if you see when I turn the power off, I save it. So again, I'm taking everything. It's just basically for resources, and you can look at the notes if you want. There's some lore. It's kind of interesting, I guess. It's kind of like a dystopian future where everyone's a peasant and you're working for the aristocrats, and they're hoarding all the wealth and the ships, and they're meant to be used for everyone. You find out later. Kind of came from a spacefaring civilization, and you weren't even meant to live on that world. It's just a temporary stop. So the heraldry I can't pronounce that. Heraldry scrambler is the thing where you can basically net hook a thing once, and then you have some time before they figure out that you're really not one of them. I completely forgot that I had my cloak off to save battery, and that's why it's beeping. So I was trying to figure out why is this beeping. I'm like, oh, my cloak. Yeah, make sure you turn that on, but it does use battery. Alright, now we're going to the crystal tower. So it was the gate, and then you can go to the workers if you want to grab fuel and stuff, and then the crystal tower. Could probably make do. Yeah, the battery's being used up. So I turn those things off to preserve power as I'm moving. For some reason, though, it's draining power real fast. So what I did was I tried to move without the scanner. Look, I got a lot of battery back. I used the fuel to recharge tank 2. Everything's beeping at me. Yeah, you don't have to get that close. I went to get the resources from the worker first. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the battery to recharge. You don't need to do that often. You can just recharge it by turning everything off and just walking. Again, when I use the net hook, I turn those things off, those 3 switches. If you turn the 4th one off, it'll turn the computer off, and then you can't use the hook. Same thing, I look at all the notes. I steal everything from storage. It's just a bunch of lore. So you do get damage if you run into things or get shot. So you can use the repair kits to fix yourself. If you play the game correctly, you're not going to take a lot of damage. And same thing, I charge the net hook, I turn those 3 switches off, I activate it to connect, and I turn it back on so I can see my computer. Here, this is the most important part because it gives you the crystal, and then when you get it, you're going to use it right away. So basically the goal is to turn the Nauticrawl into the flying mode, and that uses a crystal, a Zeppelin. So your goal is to get to that place and then get the crystal. And then when you use the crystal, the bar will charge up and you flip those 3 switches. As the light indicators show. There you go, when it's flashing, it's ready. If you look to the right there, the crystal is coming down. That was pretty cool the first time through. It's something simple, but you know, I love this type of stuff. Alright. I was going to turn that off. If you're a little bit sensitive to VR, if you get motion sickness, you might want to sit when it lifts you up. It's a little bit jarring. Alright, so when you're here, you want to push the white buttons. It's the ones that are fully lit white. If you press those, then you will contact someone on the broadcaster, and then a merchant will come. And then the main goal out of that is to get the map from him. You just have to wait a little bit. So there it is, there's a communication. So it's like, I want to go to this lighthouse. It's a mythical place that has a lot of salt, and salt is used to power the Nauticrawls. It's used for everything. It's the currency of the world. So he's like, I'll give you this map if you give me some of the salt that you're gonna find. And that's the deal you're making. So the lighthouse is this magical, mystical place that keeps moving, that no one knows where it exists, and somehow he has a map for it. Okay, so after you get the map, you make a deal, you unhook, and then you go into the map coordinates, and then you can set. So I don't think it matters what you pick, because I think I picked Silver Isle the first time, and I picked Cobalt Cave this time. So you set your destination, and then if you look at the map, to your left, there it is. You can see that you're going to be traveling there. Just lift the anchor and then push down the rightmost lever, which is the velocity. The leftmost is just shielding from radiation. It'll close that window in the front, the viewport. And then the middle one is altitude acceleration. So when you're close enough, you want to slow down. You can look at the map there, and then drop anchor once you're done. And then just go to that menu and start landing. Okay, so you're back in Nauticrawl mode. Same thing, you want to push that button to start the engine. Make sure your cloak is on. If you look at that battery meter, it said that it's like kind of dull green, meaning that it'll go down if that was the only thing there. Turn on all 4 switches to turn on your computer, your radar, and everything. Your scanner. And the first thing you're going to do is go to the Royal Arsenal. Now, there are these squid-like creatures here. When they're moving on top, you want to stay still. Blah blah blah. Basically, you get some lore where the squids will attack moving things, so as long as you're perfectly still, I can't talk. Perfectly still when they're underground, it'll be fine. Again, you could have used the hook here. Again, I charge it, I turn those 3 switches off, I press it to connect. And then I totally forgot to dismiss the radio message, and I was like, darn it. I was like, what? I think I can do another playthrough where I do it really fast. Okay, here we go. Same thing, charge it, turn the 3 switches off, connect, turn it back on so I can see everything. So you just say okay, and then steal everything. And when the timer goes down, it's gonna alert sentinels and tell you to come, tell them to come attack you. But it's fine, because they'll attack the squids and the squids will attack them. Alright, so the knots accumulator is your weapon. You're gonna take that and mount it. Now you're gonna have to go down into the menu and select knot matrix and select bowline. And then you can press this button now. If you look here, you're gonna match the numbers there. So Y0, W2, and then Z1, Y3. And position it just so, and then it activates the knot matrix. You should see that on that screen right there every time it's activated. If to activate it, you just press that button again. Alright, that's what you need there. That gives you the weapon. You're gonna need that to beat the rest of the game. And then here you get attacked by a squid. So I think this is a scripted event because it happens every time I play. I only played twice so far. So you got down here, you're gonna turn that crank to open the window. It's gonna show you the tentacle. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn those knobs until that blue beam is aligned like that. And then pull down that lever and it'll zap the tentacle. And then the squid creature will go away. And then you just go back up. And I'm like, why is it beeping? Okay. Now we're going to the altar terminal. I'm just looking at my fuel every once in a while. Sometimes I do lose track of it, but the machine will beep at me and be like, you need fuel. Sentinel target locked. Again, it's fine if you don't move when the squids are moving, and then they should attack each other. You do have to refuel your fuel every once in a while. Make sure you pay attention to that. So here, if you see that, you have to attack all 5 of those towers with your bowline. So here's what I do. You activate the... I forgot what it's called, bowline with that button. Same thing as the hook. You're gonna turn those switches off, and then you're gonna turn that on to charge and then activate. Now, if you look, I destroyed it. You have to destroy all 5. It's beeping because my cloak is off and the sentinels are attacking, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll turn it on. I wanted to save the battery power, but it wouldn't let me. Okay. Alright, same thing. I get close to the tower, I align myself to it. I activate the bowline by making sure the panel goes down. It should say it's activated. Turn those 3 switches off. I was gonna turn off the cloak to save more, but anyways, charge it, press the button to activate and shoot the bowline, and then it'll destroy it right there. It'll show it on the computer screen. Turn everything back on. Now here, I turn everything off so that when I move, it'll recharge the battery a little bit because I was running low. And I remember the first time through, I disabled the cloak completely and it was fine, but for some reason it wouldn't let me do that this run. Okay, again, just align yourself at the target. The line doesn't have to be red. I close that and open it again to activate the bowline. Turn those 3 switches off. Charge the bowline, press it to shoot it, and it's destroyed. And then turn everything back on. Here, I'm gonna be lazy and just use a battery to recharge everything. Lower my cloak meter so it stops draining battery. Yeah. Again, when you stop moving, when the squid is moving, you will not be attacked. Okay, here, same thing. I align myself to that thing. We do the same thing all over again. We make sure that we close that and then open it again. I'll say Bowline activated on the computer screen. Turn those 3 switches off to save power. Charge the Bowline, press the button, and then it'll be destroyed, and turn everything back on. This time I closed that early so that it's ready. It's reset for next time. I should have done that earlier, you know. It's only my second run. Maybe I should have played it 3 times. That's my buddy Drew playing Dead by Daylight. I told him that if he ever needs a filler, I used to play that game a lot. I wasn't particularly good at it. I know some people who got to rank 1 killer and survivor. I was like, dang, man. Same thing here. Once that is destroyed, you can finally go into the center. I don't have to move close. You can just shoot the bowline or the net hook if you want. Same thing. I charge it, turn those 3 switches off, connect, turn it back on. Okay. Now you're scanning for the lighthouse. It'll give you the mythical, magical location of the lighthouse. Acquire everything because you need the crystal. And then, you know the drill already. You're going to use the crystal to go back into Zeppelin mode. You can do the same thing when the light flashes, flip those switches. Alright, now you're gonna be going into Zeppelin mode. Again, if you're a little sensitive to VR and you get queasy easily, you might want to sit down. Oh, I forgot to mention, you do need quite a bit of space. You can play sitting down, but you have to reach out in front of you quite a bit. I don't know how to scale the game down, but it's pretty big and you have to reach out. I needed, you know, about, I would say maybe a 3-foot radius in front of me cleared. You never touch anything behind you, so the back can be cluttered, that's fine. But in front of you, you need some space. Alright, so same thing, I set the map coordinates to the lighthouse. And here, midway through, what you have to do is you have to anchor down and then pull up close the window. Raise the radiation shields, because it's a storm. It'll just keep bouncing you back. And after waiting a little bit, you can weigh anchor and then go forward. So yeah, you did that just to get the coordinates of the lighthouse, and then same thing, just the forward thrust. I never needed to use the altitude. Maybe that would have avoided the storm easier now that I think about it. But yeah, when you get close enough, slow down, drop the anchor. Is weigh anchor like dropping it, or I thought I was raising it, right? I don't know these nautical terms, I should learn them. And then start the landing sequence, so you're gonna go back into the Nauticrawl mode. This is the final level. The first time through it took me hours, so I would recommend that, you know, you don't watch this guide unless you really need help, and jump to the section where you need help and just play the game as best as you can without a walkthrough. It's more enjoyable. It feels more rewarding when you play that way. So here's the Guardian. What you're gonna do is you're gonna attack him with the bowline. Same thing, bring the panel down to activate it, turn off those 3 switches, charge the bowline, shoot. You have to hit him 3 times before he's done. I'm gonna reset that. I turn everything on just to make sure it's in front of me. Same thing, I'm gonna aim towards the Guardian. I'm gonna bring the panel down to activate the bowline, turn those 3 switches off to save power, charge it, and attack it one more time. This next attack I miss because it moves around quite a bit. Okay. When it's above you, like directly above you, it kind of glitches in and out of the map. Here I thought I had it, so I close it and open that again to activate the Bowline. And I tried attacking him, and it was a miss. And that made me sad because I need power. This time I made sure that it was working, and I'm gonna use a battery to recharge it instead of, you know, having to recharge the battery by walking. This time I'll leave the radar on to make sure that I'm actually gonna hit it. Usually I hit it. Get closer, kept moving. I was like, uh-oh. It's attacking me. Okay. There, I didn't bother saving power. I just used all of it. Now, once it's downed, you can connect with it with the regular net hook. I missed it again, and I was like, are you kidding me? So this time I just walked closer to it, and then I ran into it, and I took damage. I was like, whatever. Yeah, if you turn the 3 switches off when using the net hook, you don't lose any power. That's why I do it. Alright, acquire everything. You get the gate key, which is important. I'm gonna refuel. I think I did it when I didn't need to do it. Yeah. It has to be low enough, and then it will refuel it. Here, I fixed my mech because I ran into the Guardian. I set the radar thing to Lighthouse Gate, and that thing is very handy with that you'll never get lost. Even if it's far away, it will kind of show you a little wiggle in the signal to let you know where you're supposed to go. You can go further, further is not actual distance, at least in American English. If you increase the amount of fuel and the velocity of the mech there. Here, I connect to it. I messed up and I do it again. And now we can use the key that we got from the Guardian, and it will open up the door. Also steal everything, as always. So that's overheating, you want to pull that. I noticed my fuel was getting low as well. Now we're going to the actual lighthouse itself. And there are 3 steps. Beat the Guardian, steal the key from the Guardian, use it to unlock the gate, and then go into the lighthouse. I don't know how to describe it, but when I was playing this game and I didn't know how anything worked, and you're kind of just trying to figure that out, that experience was really immersive for me. Anyways, I hook up to the lighthouse. It has crystal and a large amount of salt, and you're gonna take everything. And that's it. You're gonna use the crystal to go into Zeppelin mode. And do the same thing, flip the switches when the indicator flashes. Also, sit down if you feel queasy, because that motion where it just shoots you upward can be a little bit jarring. I was fine with it, but I know I have some friends who are very sensitive to VR. Okay, when you're here, you're gonna see that you need to hypercharge. Pull that thing down in front of you. I had a lot of difficulty finding that. Now you can raise the platform and then pull this down and hold it until you see the hypercharge reach 100%. So you're burning the salt to hypercharge the crystal so you can go further distance. Sorry, farther. I keep saying further. Press the button. That took me a while. That part where I had to pull it down, I had to look up a guide for Nauticrawl. No one had a full walkthrough on Rogue Escape, so I was like, yeah, I should make one. Just that part I looked up though. Everything else I did on my own. Do you flip those 4 switches? Here I mess up. I don't know what I did wrong, to be honest. So you flip all those 4 switches. And then you're supposed to tap that and it sends a message. Message of like, screw the aristocracy. And then you see that the merchant is coming to stop you and get the salt. So now you have to start everything. That was supposed to unlock the drives. Yeah, it was unlocked. I activated all the drives. So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to ascend, and reach full speed. It wouldn't go though. So I was like, what is going on here? I was so confused. I'm like, do I flip these again? Because nothing's happening. When you do it right, it just happens immediately. I was like, is there a button I'm missing? Like, I don't get it. So I reset these switches, and I do it again. If you only do one side, it will unbalance the drives. And it says fusion drive locked. So I'm like, okay. So I had no idea what happened here, to be honest. I don't know if it's a bug. I probably did something wrong. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I struggle here. I'm gonna leave this in because when I make a full walkthrough, I don't edit it to show that it's just one run, you know? That's why I play the game so many times, so I don't make a mistake. But here, this happened in Flow Weaver 2. Like, I made a mistake the 3rd time through on the last part. I guess it's just tradition, you know? Here, so I unlock the drives again. And I'm like, yes, it's unlocked, so it should work. And it wouldn't go. Like, do I have to press this? I'm like, is this gonna open anytime soon? I was like, I don't understand. And man, you don't understand the struggle here. I was sweating because I was like, oh no, oh god, am I gonna have to play the game another time? Yeah, other than this hiccup, I really enjoyed the game. I mean, it didn't happen my first playthrough. I kind of wanted more from the ending. It just resets you back into the beginning of the game. Yeah, it says full thrust. So that's a little weird because when the first time I played it, I put all the switches on the left side on and I did the right side on. I guess you're supposed to do one on each side. The first one, speed up, and then press the final 2. Yeah, here it opens up and you're going into hyperspeed. You're leaving the planet. And you're gonna go explore a new habitable planet. That's the end of the game. There's credits here, roll credits. I really like this. Anyways, I hope this walkthrough helps. If you have any further questions, please feel free to let me know and I'll try my best to answer. I'll have a written guide in the description below as well, link to my blog if you want just the text and pictures. But yeah, once you press it, just resets and then you play again. Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for dropping by and watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope it helped. Catch you guys next time.